Dream Theater essentially is a brand management and licensing company. Disney, if you know of Pokemon, if you know of Sanrio, Hello Kitty, Real Madrid Football Club, etc. We represent brands like these in India.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 8. My name is Sanjay Chakrabarti. I'm the founder of Tag 8. Today's guest is someone who puts life into characters. You would have definitely seen one or more of them in your daily routine. Today you'll find out more about it. I'm absolutely delighted to have with me Jiggy George, the CEO and founder of Dream Theater. Jiggy, thanks so much for coming in.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Sanjay.
Jiggy, getting into the first question, who is Jiggy George in one breath?
My name is Jiggy George. That's my real name, and I am amazed because my parents really had a great sense of humor, and they also had great foresight to believe that I would be part of the media and the entertainment world. I am exceptionally passionate about music, about um travel, and all the experiences that travel brings you. Um, Reading, writing, fitness. I believe that when you're working with 20-year-olds, you really need to be very, very fit. Um, for me, human connections are really, really important. And I believe my best return on investment is my friends and family. I live in Bombay with my family, which is my wife, Yamni, and my beautiful daughter, Malika. I'm also the founder and CEO of Dream Theatre.
Awesome. That, I guess, gives us a good segue to question two. Tell us something about Dream Theater.
Well, Dream Theater essentially is firstly the name itself is a theater of our dreams and aspirations as our founding team, and it is a brand management and licensing company. And essentially, to just make it simple for people who are listening, I mean, if you know of Disney, if you know of Pokemon, if you know of Sanrio, Hello Kitty, Real Madrid Football Club, etc. We represent brands like these in India. And if you ever wore a physical product or bought some for your kids or your nephew or nieces, etc., you can blame us for it because you essentially we give these rights to manufacturers, distributors, retailers to produce products and distribute them at retail. We also, I mean, we start off with the entire thing of building it out on content, like with Pokemon, and then having it in terms of licensing and merchandising in various businesses.
Got it. Got it. And Jiggy, you were heading the entire business for Cartoon Network for a long period. How did this entire thought come about? Moving out of a very cushy job and getting into this space.
So, I mean, I don't know. I used to keep talking about a couple of things while I was in corporate world. One was that I wanted to make a movie, write a book, and the other one was about starting a company. And as and you would mirror my sentiment. As you go higher in the corporate world, you just become those dreams just actually move to the corner because you get more and more comfortable. And I thought at one point that I was really kidding myself because I would just say this, but without meaning it. And there came a moment where we were going to have our first child, which was Malika. And just before she was born, I said, let's do something completely crazy. What if we um, just free fall and leave corporate world and set up now? Because after that moment there would only be more and more and more responsibilities thrown to tell you why you should not jump ship. So I think I give a lot of credit to my wife because she's also an equal partner in free falling in these crazy things, because most other people would say, are you crazy, throw caution, you're already going through something new and challenging is coming your way, so why would you do that? But that intersected beautifully with the fact that I am, and I'm so grateful for that now, because at that time that I had my team, we had a Jerry Maguire moment where the team that I worked with decided to leave with me. And so each of them jumped ship, and five of them came with me before we set up Dream Theater. So why I say that I'm really grateful is that because, and you would embody this, because um, whatever in corporate world seems very easy is also because there are tons of people who insulate that risk, right? There is a bad debt somewhere, and there'll be somebody running around to make that happen. Um, in all of this, with all the bumps that we went through in our life in corporate world, I would never do it without my team. So I think, so I digressed briefly, but that's what it was.
No, that's really interesting. Jiggy, I've seen your portfolio, and there are all these heavyweights, which are international characters, brands that you have. Tell us something
Yeah.
about, do you see something like this also coming from India, wherein it kind of, grows big, and then you can actually go out and licenses outside to others? Do you see that happening in India?
I think that's the real hope, because when I look closely at Japan, for example, or Korea, and what we are all very happily taking on board with anime, and what we have, we're just waiting for the day where we land up exporting a lot of it, and it's going to intersect for sure. Also because we have a massive diaspora of ours in those parts of the market, so it will intersect. But beyond us and Indians, it should do that, because um, we need to build out an aesthetic which connects with people globally, and I think it's a matter of time. So one of those experiments was with Chuchu TV, which is a brand based out of Chennai. Again, a bunch of 4 5 really smart people who built out a YouTube sensation, which we have been able to take globally in different ways. Music, for example, we've done a deal with Sony Orchard, and that's taken global. We did some toys with them, which got launched in Walmart many years back. All of that happened, but those were just small pieces of a larger movement. What will be amazing is to see what Japan has done or what Korea has done for the world coming out of India, and I hope we see this while we go through the Dream Theater adventure.
So what is that ingredient missing? I mean, is it that there's significant marketing money that goes in creating this character and then pushing it through that we are not putting in? I mean, what is it? It can't just be the creative part, because I'm sure, uh, that would be there in abundance. So what is that layer that is really not letting us go into the other side? And especially you mentioned Japan and Korea, for example, is kind of ruling the market right now as far as any characters you pick up.
See, I am exceptionally hopeful of India, but one thing that one has to recognize, which is also a strength, but um, is also a limitation, is the fact that you can't ghettoize India, or you can't um, point to this is what is called India. Because when people even talk about Indian food, what is Indian food really? For most people, it's equal to curries, but anyone who's Indian knows that a few 100 kilometers changes food as we see it. So similarly, there are various countries within our country of India, and so to create an aesthetic which is distinctly Indian is very tough, because our aesthetic differ from the north of India to the south of India. But it's extremely encouraging that there are um, things from India, whether it's spirituality or whether it's yoga, which has been exported to the world and is extremely strong. In fact, I believe that the Indians have exported yoga and imported stress. We've got more yoga teachers, I believe, in China than we have in India. So there is a lot of acceptance in parts, but it's important to look at the various themes that exist within India as a diverse country, and then to make those themes into something which is common, and then exported as an aesthetic which is palatable to people around the world. It's a matter of time. It's more complex and complicated than it is with smaller countries. Um, and I am amazingly excited to know even a part of those themes if they become massively global. Um, um, and if we could be participating in any way as Dream Theater and as me as towards that process would be both an amazing sense of joy, but also a sense of pride.
Oh, that's great to hear. Jiggy, 14 years of entrepreneurship. What would you call as your one of your key low points?
I'm also very passionate about music. So there's a song called "You Can't Hurry Love." You just have to wait, right? The patience is
Yeah.
very important in corporate world. I mean, yeah, we hear of all these glory stories of people raising a lot of money and hitting hockey stick growth, etc. But if you want to do it the traditional way, you can't hurry stuff. So one of the low points I think is that my incredible um, lack of patience to to have one business actually grow to an extent that it can build and stand on its own. But before that itself, starting off a couple of more businesses and spreading ourselves too thin and taking resources out of a business which was doing really well towards these end, taking debt in times when before the business actually has started taking off, things like this, which was a lot of I wouldn't say it was very democratic. It was more of, yeah, I want to do it, I'm obsessed by it, let's do it. I think two bits of learnings from there is that one, uh, you have to wait, you have to be patient, and second is that, and in that context, not to be in a hurry. And the second is to be a little bit more open to seeing what others are seeing, because a lot of them now, when my team members, a lot of them saw it, and I was too much in a rush to make things work in a shorter time span.
Got it. That's really valuable. Jiggy, of late, especially, I've followed your entire rollout of what you're doing with Hello Kitty and this entire thing with the collaboration of Oreo and Pokemon.
Okay.
That's just brilliant. Would that really be like your high point, or there's been, what would you consider like the one biggest success here that you've had with any of these characters?
I think there are many successes, but and there have been things that could have been much better. But what makes us very proud about something like Pokemon is the fact that most people see it in terms of what we are doing currently. But the popularity of Pokemon has taken 9 years. So when we were at Cartoon Network is when it hit the imagination of a lot of kids who are now jobbers and working in jobs. And they were very gracious to give us the business and move the business to us when we started off doing theater. But this has been a long haul, because in this 9 years, we have put the brand on 3 channels of Disney. It's up on Netflix, it's up on Amazon, it's up on Geo. So first, the brand itself has been made popular. There's also a YouTube channel. And then from there, we are licensing that to core categories. The Mondelez one is extremely, I think it's also innovative, and innovation happens never in a vacuum. It's never about only us, because Mondelez was extremely innovative in terms of having the product itself pivot to a Pokemon product in this millions and millions of packs. Every product is molded to the shape of a Pokemon. It had digital integrations which allowed fans to have a wow moment, and an amazing commercial. And to add to it, an intersection when Coldplay, the concert was happening in Ahmedabad, to make sure that the yellow variant and the yellow iconic song of Coldplay, everything intersects, including the stadium and Hotstar while the show was being shown. All of that, this I think to a great extent is all our training also through consumer marketing at MTV, running through MTV, running through Cartoon Network, all those channels like Pogo, and being able to do this 360 and making that possible. We're just grateful that it's happening. In the case of each of these objectives are different. So Hello Kitty, we're very, very happy about the fact that we again in this case also have a much larger mandate than just pure licensing and merchandising. It's about concurrently building the brand, making it relevant for the Gen Zs, and then also making sure that we build out the brand for the long term, with both of these demographics. So they're all various mandates which we are very proud of. Like, for example, FIFA was also very exciting because we are big football fans. So the opportunity to work on Brazil, Russia, Doha, 12 years of the World Cup, and then also as a fan get tickets to watch the matches right in the middle of it. It was amazing. Some of these things we can't even believe people pay us for it. It's it's because it's so much of things we are passionate about. The other last but not least is universal music and bravado, because these are all the bands that most of my 20s we grew up on rock and roll, and having Guns N' Roses and Bob Marley and Tupac and Rolling Stones and all of that, and doing that merch, and then now looking at the younger artists and figuring out what we'll be doing with them. It's all really a theater of our dreams. We're very excited.
The more you're talking, the more envious I'm getting of the business that you're running.
Yeah, it's quite fun. And also what is really good is that it's really an intersection between creative and business, because um, even in the case of artists, we get a chance to be with most of these artists to make this possible. In the case of or most of what we do with Pokemon or Hello Kitty or whatever, it's also knowing the pool of animation that has been done over many seasons and knowing that intimately. I mean, fun really is a serious business here.
Actually, that's my next question. Jiggy, the creative lead, or Jiggy, the businessman?
Back again, I mean, I would talk to you about your son, and now when he's growing up, right? How much of I don't think that you would be imposing any of what your education or what you think he should be doing based on your lens, right? So most of us, while we were growing up, a lot of what we've landed up doing was, right, a function of somewhere our parents trying to be nice, looking out for us from a perspective of just seeing, could we finally land up getting a job? That was really what the overall idea. Because when I often think about it, it's not about what are you really set out to do. It was more about the fact that yeah, that's cool, you do that, but get educated and get a gig. So I think my natural leaning is creative. I mean, what comes naturally to me is to write out ideas and think through that. And second is I've always been pretty good at cementing relationships with people. So I think these are the two strengths. But the business side actually was thrust to a great extent by my education, really, because I was pushed in the field of sales and going through MBA school. So my first job started off in fashion design, and that's why I find it kind of strange, because I moved there. But as life took its turn, I mean, right from the time that from the first job itself, to have found the CEO of that company to make me move to the business side, and then it just continued on the business side, while I always tried to push my way into straddling both the business and the creative side, whether it's writing on the side as a journalist, or whether it was writing a script like I've done for animation. So this continues to happen because that two parts of me continues to play out, and I think that's pretty cool. Like we hired our creative people before we hired our business people, and setting up a business enterprise, it seems a bit bizarre, but I just feel that if your
Got it.
creatives are tight, we can sell anything.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
In
Last
the last couple of
question. Where do you see Dream Theater in 8 months and 8 years?
8 months from now, I think we have worked really hard on acquiring some new businesses. So we hope that we will both be making those announcements as well as setting foot in terms of building those businesses in the next 8 months. And 8 years from now, it will just continue to be um, the same thing, that the vision with which we started off the company, which is to build a very aspirational, inspirational, and profitable group of companies. So that would be what it is. And we hope that we'll all be still hustling, staying in the game, and loving what we do.
Awesome. And I just wanted to add to that, probably leading one of the characters from India to its global glory.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just waiting for that day. I really do, because our time has come.
Super. Jiggy, thanks so much for coming in. And as I said, I'm actually envious from the time I understood the type of business that you do. It's just amazing to be able to do what you're so passionate about. That's the whole creative side, and get paid for it. So I don't think anything can be
Exactly.
better. I love the work that you're doing, and definitely catch up soon.
Thank you so much.